Hey, it's Ed. I'm the luckiest man in the world right now. I'm with three amazing nurses, and I love nurses. And so I'm so thankful because we really wanted the nurse's voice in this book on voice of innovation in AI. Because I always said the healthcare rubber meets the road with nursing. That's where patients are really cared for. Although I love my doctors too, don't get me wrong. But you all got together and submitted an article, an essay for our book, which is a collaborative book. So this is an earlier version of the book, Voice of Innovation. And there's two great reasons why people participate, people such as yourself. One is we want to share best practices around the world. So we have a global audience for this book, and it really helps save people's lives all around the world and help improve experiences for our clinicians, our nurses, and our patients and our families. And the second thing is all the royalties. So all the royalties that we would have normally collected go directly to Mayo Clinic Foundation to cure cancer research. So thank you for that. So with that way long introduction, I wanted to introduce my friends and co-collaborators. And I'll start with you. Olga, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hi, Ed, again. And I'm so glad to be here with my colleagues, Kathleen and Anna. And I am Olga Kagan. I live and work in New York. And I am involved in multiple initiatives. Most recently started a nonprofit food allergy nursing association, but otherwise involved as an educator at two educational institutions in New York, and also have a consulting firm. That's just a little bit about me.
And Olga, you've been a guest of mine on Ed Talks, and so I will drop that into the notes as well for people to get even more information about the cool work that you're involved with. We'll go to you, Kathleen. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi, Ed. Thanks for having me. I'm Kathleen McRow, the Chief Nursing Innovation Officer for Microsoft Health and Life Sciences. My background is I'm a trauma critical care nurse, and I have my degree in informatics. And I think that nurses are key, as you said, to patient care. First and foremost, I'm always calling myself a nurse, but I think our nurse informaticists colleagues really kind of bridge that gap between patient care, the workflows, and then information technology.
Very well said. And Kathleen, I need to have you also on my Ed Talk. So I'm actually writing a note in real time here. And then Anna has been on my Digital Voices podcast. We want to drop that in as well, telling us about all the great work that you've done and some of your personal background, which I won't elaborate on here because that's not the focus, but good luck on any marathons you got coming this year. Anna, tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much for having us. I am the Vice President of Application Digital Health at Penn Medicine, which is the University of Pennsylvania Health System. And I oversee the EHR or any third-party digital solutions for our providers, nurses, and all disciplines, as well as patient interaction. So Kathleen and I, and as well as Olga, we sit on the HIMSS, Nursing Innovation, the nursing work group, and that's how we've gotten to be close and been able to kind of plant the seed for innovation, artificial intelligence, and have a lot of great things that we're working on.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of also having your CEO recently on Digital Voices podcast. And so it all made sense when I heard him speak and about how he thinks about digital, and to have someone like you on his team, I'm sure helps accelerate all the initiatives that you're doing for your patients that you care for. So let's jump into the book. So you all submitted an essay, and I would love to get kind of the executive summary and perspective from each one of you. So this time we'll start the opposite direction, and we'll begin with you, Anna.
Yeah. So, it was great when Olga reached out. We reached out to Olga and we got on a call, and we had to really think quickly since we had a very short time frame to get this implemented, but it was an honor to be included. And what I brought to the table was just from a practical standpoint from implementation, right? Since I brought the perspective of hospital or health system implementation on an ambulatory, home health, or inpatient acute care space. And that's really my perspective. How do you, number one, understand the problem you're trying to solve? What kind of options and solutions? And then what are the components that we need to take into consideration? And we want to share just the practical experience on how we pursue that here at my health system. And so that's how we kind of divvied up the different chapter components. And that's the lens that I brought into this chapter.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kathleen?
Yeah, so I thought we were all very excited, right? Because we thought it'd be a great opportunity. We realized that there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, especially around artificial intelligence within nursing. And the way to really combat that, I think, is through education. I think we collaboratively agree with that. So really, for me, it was really around how can we further disseminate the education to folks that are in the field, right? Our bedside care providers. So I think we did a pretty good overview of the introduction to AI in healthcare, why you would want to leverage it, some of the applications. And then we also, I believe we also talked about the ethical considerations and the implications, knowing that you're going to use it in clinical practice, education, as well as research. And then what's the future of AI bring? Because we know it's greenfield and there's a lot going on, and we're going to use it in healthcare. And many people are already using it now, but we have to, be educated to be able to utilize and optimize it for the best use for both the providers as well as the patients, so you get the best optimal patient care.
Awesome. And Olga, yeah, you can tell the story. You were my SOS, my lifeline to make sure the voice of the nurse was included. What about from your perspective?
Well, being an educator and a researcher, certainly that's something, the lens that I had brought to the chapter, and kind of like truly trying to outline what do we need to focus on, because we are looking to make sure that our nursing workforce is prepared for the future, especially the future of AI. And that's where sort of, I guess, I came into this. And one of the things that we shared in the book was the framework. And we called it 5 Rights of AI, which is modeled after 5 Rights of Medication Administration, which nurses are used to. And so that familiarity piece hopefully will translate into the adoption of those 5 rights into practice. So from education to practice is what we're striving to achieving in preparing our workforce for the future. And I am so glad that you reached out, because like I said, we had less than 48 hours to put this together, and I'm so proud of us for being able to do that. So thank you for thinking of us and including us, because I think, as you said, nurses' voice is so important, given that there's 4 million nurses in the United States, and we are sort of like the backbone of the healthcare system. So having nurses at the table is very important, and we appreciate you recognizing it and inviting us to contribute. So thank you.
Totally. And yeah, and it's, as you all explained, I mean, it's super, super insightful, the submission that you made. It's going to help a lot of people around the world. So, and I love that you reuse a framework which people are already familiar with in the profession with the 5 rights. And so makes it even better. So thank you again for what you've done. And I look forward to seeing you at a book signing in the near future. Thanks again for being part of Voices of Innovation.